She eats like a goat that has never seen a real kitchen.
This soup is so sweet, Mama. You really tried. Welcome. If you love incredible African stories filled with mystery, wisdom, and unforgettable twists, you're in the right place. Before we begin, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another amazing story. Now, stick around until the very end because today's African folktale has a shocking ending you won't see coming. Let's dive right in.
They thought I was just smiling because the food was good. I was smiling because I understood every single word. She eats like a goat that has never seen a real kitchen, Mama Nkechi said, in Igbo, her spoon still moving, her face still warm. Kelechi laughed. Not a small laugh. A real one. I kept chewing. I kept smiling. This soup is so sweet, Mama. You really tried. My name is Favor. It was Eneni's voice I grew up on. Eneni's hands that plaited my hair. And Eneni's language, from a village 3 rivers away, that she whispered to me every night like a secret.
Learn your dialect, Igbo language. Learn it well, Fava. A language is a room if you can enter it quietly when they think no one who matters is listening.
But it feels so difficult, Mama.
It's not. Put your mind to it.
I didn't understand her then. I thought it was just an old woman's superstition. But I learned it anyway, because I loved her. By the time I was 16, I could speak it as easily as I spoke my own tongue. I just never told anyone outside our compound. When I met Kelechi, I was 24. He courted me properly, visited my people, brought yam and drinks, did not rush things. I fell for him slowly, the way you fall into warm water. And when he told me his mother was from that same village, 3 rivers away, I said nothing. I kept it folded, small, in my chest. Mama Nkechi was beautiful. I want you to understand that first, before anything else, because it matters. The first time I met her, she held both my hands in hers and said, "So this is the girl my son has been hiding from me." Everyone laughed. I laughed too. I thought, this woman will love me. It took only 3 weeks for me to see the folded arms. The hiss under her breath when I served her tea slightly too hot. She never called me foolish. She never raised her voice. Pride does not shout. Pride folds its arms and waits for you to fail. The trouble really began the year I got my promotion at the bank. Small thing, you would think. But in that house, it was an earthquake. Mama Nkechi had spent her whole life being the biggest woman in every room she entered, and here I was, suddenly bringing home more than her son's salary some months. The maidservants noticed it first. Madam is not happy. Oh. Since Oga's wife got that promotion, something done change for this house. Mama Nkechi did not correct them. She fed on it. Every whisper was a coal added to a fire already burning quiet and low in her chest. Hello, besties. If you think you have heard it all, trust me, this is just the beginning. Stay with me to the end, because what came after will marvel you. And don't leave without hitting that subscribe button, because stories like this one, we don't tell twice. I tried 3 times to put that fire out with kindness. The first time, I brought her a wrapper from ABA, the exact color she liked. She turned it over in her hands and said, nice. For someone. She gave it to her sister the next week. The second time, I offered to pay her hospital bill quietly, without telling Kelechi. She took the money. She told her friends, you know how bank people are, they think money settles everything. Tears filled my eyes that night, but I said nothing. The third time, I organized her 60th birthday. Cooked for 3 days. Stood in the kitchen while everyone celebrated her, sweat on my back, smoke in my eyes. At the end of it, she raised her cup and said, "Thank you all for coming to celebrate me, despite everything." Nobody asked what everything meant. That night, the Hammertown wind that had been blowing all week simply stopped. No breeze. No sound. Even the crickets went quiet, as if the whole compound was holding its breath, waiting. I started to notice small things missing, a document here, a signature there. And Annie's voice came back to me one night, clear as if she were standing in the room. When the room goes quiet the moment you enter it, favor, that is the room you must learn to listen to. So I did. They were planning to move me out of that house. Not with violence, with paperwork. Kelechi sat in that study and let his mother draw the lines of my erasure, and he only said, softly, in that language they thought was locked to me alone, but she has been good to us. That was the night of the dinner. Mama Nkechi leaned toward her son and said the words that broke something loose in me, tomorrow we finish the paperwork. Before the market women start asking why a bank woman is still living in a house that was never truly hers. The candle bent low. A dog outside went silent. I put down my spoon. Mama, I said, still in her own tongue, which paperwork is that? The silence that followed, besties, was the loudest sound I have ever heard in my life. Kelechi's spoon fell. Mama Nkechi's smile froze. I began to repeat it back to her, every insult, word for word, so she would know nothing had escaped me. That same night, an old woman none of us had ever seen before came to the gate. She said she had walked from 3 rivers away, guided by a dream. She said this house had been used to plan the casting out of an innocent wife, and that our ancestors do not close their eyes simply because a door is shut. You mocked her in the tongue of your own blood, the old woman said, believing it made you safe. But a language is not a weapon you can hide behind. It is a room. And she was standing in that room with you the whole time. The judgment was not violent, but it was final. I begged the old woman to soften it. I did not want to be the reason a mother lost her voice among her own grandchildren. But the old woman only looked at me and said, your goodness is not required to undo her lesson, child. It is only required to prove you never needed one. The paperwork was never finished. Kelechi tore it himself, the next morning, in front of his mother, in front of me, saying nothing but the tearing sound itself. Mama Nkechi grew quiet in that house, truly quiet, for the first time in her life. A pot of soup left outside my door. A wrapper folded neatly on my bed. She still struggles to say sorry out loud, but I have started to understand that some rooms take longer to enter kindly than others. As for me, I did not leave that house. I stayed, and I grew, and my daughter is being raised the same way I was, 2 tongues folded into one small chest, in case she ever needs it. Jealousy does not need to be loud to be dangerous. It only needs a listener who has been underestimated. And the sweetest revenge, besties, is simply understanding, quietly, for years, until the day the room finally needs to hear you speak. Now let me ask you this, besties. And I want to hear from you. Has anyone ever spoken about you in a language they thought you didn't understand? Has anyone ever tried to shrink you, sell you out, or write you off, right in front of your face, thinking you couldn't hear them? Tell me in the comment section. I read every single one. And if this story moved something in you, don't scroll past without hitting that subscribe button, because besties, the next story might just be the one that mirrors yours.